This is Mouth Media Network, covering the business of lifestyle.
One man, one woman, two microphones. And Elsie. So, then 3 microphones. What, that's it? That's the whole tagline? So what happens? Really? That's it? Oh boy, are they gonna be steamed. I hope they didn't pay for this thing. They didn't. Oh, okay then. What am I complaining about? This is Funny People Talking.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Funny People Talking. I'm one of your hosts, Marc Rako, and she's at about 11 o'clock for me, 11 o'clock in terms of orientation, and she is Danielle Beckman, my co-host. Hi, Danielle.
Hello. I'm in orientation of 11 o'clock because I'm like that 11 o'clock number in the musical everyone wants to see. I don't know. That was just me trying to be funny. Means.
It was hilarious, but I have no idea what it meant.
That's the thing. It's like the show-stopping number.
Oh, yeah.
Is it called the 11
o'clock number? Is that a thing?
Elsie, do you know?
I don't know.
No.
Well, we're joined by Elsie.
I don't work in that
also in the
industry.
studio.
I don't know.
That's right. You don't.
Oh, right. Sorry.
She barely works in this one. Hey, Elsie. No, I'm just kidding. You're a great producer,
Yeah,
Elsie.
you barely work in it.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Burns.
Yeah. I know. Hi, sick burns. Hi, Elsie.
Hi.
How's it going?
Fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You feeling okay these days?
Yeah.
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 You hesitated. Something going on?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the last thing you ate?
A bagel.
Yeah. What kind of bagel was it?
It was a plain bagel with tofu, vegetable, cream cheese.
I love tofuti.
And if you say it that way, too, it makes it fancier.
Creme cheese.
And also here in the studio with us is none other than Nicole Monente. She is the creator of Scribbles by Nicole. She's the Nicole in Scribbles by Nicole. She's a cartoonist who has created a remarkable little universe and carved out a nice little business for herself, merchandise, the whole thing, and kind of a bit of social media influence on Instagram. We'll find out all about her, why she does that, and maybe what's her favorite kind of cartoon to do, and maybe even a moment she's gotten in trouble along the way. I don't actually know that, but based on our expression, maybe we have a little story there.
We'll get to see.
We will find out all of that a little later. But first,
yes, Marc.
I have a question for you, Danielle.
Me, Danielle, at 11 o'clock.
Yes. I happen to notice that you have not 1, not 2, not even 3. You have 4 suede coats on.
Yep.
Many layers. And 6 turtleneck sweaters on. That seems very hot to me. Why are you wearing so much, not just clothing, thick, luxurious, hot clothing?
Okay, well, so Marc, you know, I'm an actor, right? So I have 10 side hustles. This show being one of them.
Yes.
And I've gotten into suede lately.
Suede,
yeah,
really?
So I wear the coats.
Uh-huh.
It's like I'm
people say,
modeling
hey, that's nice.
them.
Well,
oh,
you
that's
can have
nice.
This one?
And you can literally I give people the coat off my back. But I charge them. You know, because it's a beautiful coat. But that's one of my side hustles.
Yes.
Wool, suede. Mm-hmm. We're going in the sort of barnyard theme of materials for clothing.
Sure. So you have any alpaca?
You know what? I do. Alpaca scarves.
Now, you said this is one of many side hustles.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us any other side hustles? What's your favorite other side hustle?
Pocket watches.
Pocket watches.
That's one of my
Are
other
you
ones.
selling them, making them?
Well, they're in. Look, I'll show you.
Okay. Oh.
See, I'm opening the coat and see all the pocket watches.
Do they come as a set?
No, individual.
You have to buy them individually.
Absolutely.
Do you buy
of people,
one, cash out, then you go, hey, also a pocket watch, and then do that?
Yes, actually, yes, I do. And Venmo is how I do most of my transactions.
I love that you do a pocket watch through Venmo.
Well, everyone.
Little of the old, little of the new.
Everyone needs to know the time. So.
Oh, they do. And what would you say is your least favorite side hustle?
My least favorite side hustle is picking the dirt and lint and debris out of my friend's phone sockets. You know how in your iPhone battery where you plug it in. Yeah,
is this an ongoing issue? This is enough for actually to be a hustle.
Yeah, because everyone in my neighborhood in Brooklyn is like, my phone won't charge, and I discovered something someday, and I was like, oh, all you need to do is pick out the lint, and so I just have a assembly line of tweezers, and I'm making.
Do people go, I can't get my charger. I have the girl you got to call.
She's a regular Dolly Levi. Seriously, I will star in that show when I'm 73.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, I am Dolly Levi, for sure.
Has there ever been a phone you haven't been able to get the lint out of properly?
We won't talk about it.
Oh, was that a dark day?
Yeah. There was a power outage.
So you were like, you like all the spare time in your hands and you couldn't do anything about it because...
Just couldn't.
No one could charge their phone anyway.
They left an unhappy customer. Oh. I charge $5 per lint per phone.
How big is a lint? How big is a lint? Define a lint.
No, per phone.
I thought lint was just more of a collection, a milieu, if you will, as opposed to a unit.
It is. Well, you know what is interesting, though, is the lint I get. Lint is a catalyst for starting fires. So when I go camping with friends, we take the lint that I've taken out of the phones, and it's kindling. Yep, it's lint. Oh my god, I'm done with these puns. Wow. Anyway, I'm so glad you asked, but I might take off some layers. It's a little hot.
Okay,
just a second.
Okay. Oh, that's not even sound effects, everybody. That's the real thing right there. Okay, while Danielle gets a little cooler, as if she could get cooler. But let's go the complete other direction. And how about a nerd tip? You got a nerd tip for us today?
Hold on, let me just set this pocket
Danielle's
watch down.
nerd tips. Nicole, she's always got one going on. And it's funny because looking at her, to me, I don't see Danielle looks like a nerd as I would envision one.
But what is a nerd?
Like a
nerd
sitcom nerd?
Like, I know,
yeah,
like
a nerd by any other name.
Did I do that?
He doesn't look like Urkel, so
he's pretty cute.
Sure.
A nerd by any other name would smell as odorous, perhaps. Okay, I'm done. So this is a nerd. Actually, it's more of advice.
Nerd advice.
Because we have a cartoonist and illustrator on, Nicole. I thought of this for you.
Okay.
I was recently having to design a graphic for a show that I'm doing. And my tip of the day is to remind people that if you're going to use a certain font for a logo or a graphic, you gotta buy the font. So a lot of people don't really speak about buying fonts, but you're actually purchasing the license to use the font. So usually the permissions and restrictions are in this thing called the EULA, the End User License Agreement. And those must be accepted before purchasing it. Then you download it, So you have to have a license. Sometimes you have to get a special license if it's for like an ebook, whatnot. And then you can't loan the font to like a third party unless the license says, and you have to keep it in its original form. So like this is actually pretty practical nerd advice right now. The font I purchased is called Paragord, and it is like an old font. It looks like it's like a medieval font, which is really cool. It's not as old as medieval times, but it's like a 20-year-old font, and it only cost me $18.
It was only recently that I realized you actually needed to pay for fonts. There are companies out there that are these behemoth companies, and they're built on fonts.
I don't, but are you saying they're using them illegally?
I don't know.
We don't know. We got to look it up.
Well, I'm not like out there finding fonts and going, aha, found another one. Doesn't seem to cost anything.
I'm a font buster now. I'm all about it.
No, I'm saying, I mean, I understand if you're like, hey, a Star Wars font, and then you.
Oh God.
But what I mean is. I only use what's built into like my Microsoft Word program or whatever. Which means apparently I licensed them by purchasing that software. One would hope.
Yes. If you were, I got to read up on my license agreements and let you know. Well,
look, this is an interesting thing. So when I buy my computer, it comes, let's say, with Microsoft Word.
Oh yeah.
And if Microsoft Word has fonts in it, how interesting. I've trusted Microsoft that their licenses for fonts are all up to code,
Well,
and
you can type a research paper from it, but if you were to take, say, Times New Roman and put it in a logo, I think you might need to purchase it.
that's fascinating. I bet most people don't know that if that's true.
And this is the nerd advice of the day.
Or unnerving advice, perhaps.
Everyone's getting a little bit nervous.
I kind of want to make my text into a font.
You should. My friend
Yeah.
Shelly does that. She makes tear-off calendars for events, and she
Smart.
turned her own handwriting into a font.
Oh my god! I have
You
to
can
get in
totally
touch
do
with
it,
her.
Nicole.
Yeah, because I obviously handwrite all my comics, but I wonder if I can actually make it into a font.
There
That'd
must be
so
an
much
app for
easier.
that.
No, you can. I can give you the
All
her
right, we have to talk
information.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay. I think maybe that's a good point to start the show while I go check on my font licensing. So, Danielle, why don't you tell me to start the show?
Mark.
Yeah.
Start the show.
Oh, good God, I will.
All right.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, and from the same people who brought you Monkey Radio with Mark, this is Funny People Talking with Mark Rako, Danielle Beckman, and Elsie.
Hey, everybody. So glad you are here with us for this episode of Funny People Talking. I'm so excited to have Nicole in the house. We're going to talk about lots of things cartoon and how you can make a business out of that. But first, Danielle, what's been going on in Danielle's world?
I gotta say, women are taking over the gaming world, man.
What?
I gotta say, last week I launched my all women's Dungeons and Dragons show.
Do tell. Please do tell.
Yeah,
Let's-
it was a blast. And
Wait, so Dungeons and Dragons.
Mhm.
First of all, the sexist pig that I am, I
Yeah.
guess I assumed largely men played Dungeons and Dragons.
well,
or,
thank you,
excuse me,
sexist pig number one.
Largely 12-year-old boys played Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, what's funny is the 12-year-old boys are now 32,
Mm-hmm.
and they're playing a newer edition of Dungeons and Dragons. But actually, the show's called Maven Brave, and it's 4 actresses plus me, the host, so I guess 5. And I'm the dungeon master, and I lead these characters that they've created on a
Interesting.
live improvised storytelling adventure.
So when you told your mom, "Hey mom, so what are you up to, Danielle?" and you say,
Yeah, she's
I'm
from
a-
California. She sounds like that.
I know. So what are you up to, Danielle?
Okay.
That's more California. than me.
She's vocal fry.
Exactly. When you say, "Well, Mom, I'm a dungeon master," did she know what you were talking about, or did she think other things?
She did not know what I was talking about. And this is crazy you just asked me that, Mark, because yesterday she actually said something about my aunt not understanding and not quote unquote getting it and not watching. So we're changing the marketing on the show.
How so?
We're not going to even use the
Dungeon?
words Dungeons and Dragons. We're actually going to speak in it about the shows as you'll see the cool copy we come out with,
Yeah.
but it's going to be more about the story, about the people, about the relationships, and about the fact that it is improvised and a created, devised world.
Interesting.
Storytelling. That's what it's all about. Anyway, relationships. That's why we're doing this podcast,
Yeah.
because we want to know about Nicole. We want to have some laughs. That's what we're doing. So
We're learning about Dungeon Master.
right. And so we don't even need the
No.
words Dungeons and Dragons in
No.
it. And if it causes confusion in any way, we're just going to get it out of there. Anyway, the success of the show was momentous, and it was so much fun. And it's every Wednesday
Oh.
night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And how do people find this, Danielle?
BrooklynQuarter.com.
All
Brooklyn
right.
Quarter like the money, or twitch.tv/Brooklyn Quarter.
You know, Dungeons and Dragons sounds like that's a little bit of a fun, guilty pleasure for you. It's not guilty at all, is it?
You know what? It is fun. I have to say, it's really hard work. It's making my brain fire in ways I didn't know were possible, because I'm constantly writing and connecting to a fictional world that's fantasy, sci-fi, etc. But it's also so close to home. and it is pleasurable, but it is a lot of hard work, and there's a great market for it. So there's money to be made.
There's a new game. My friend is really into it, and it's like a brand new card game that there's like unlimited decks, and it's a whatever.
Yeah, RPG
game. Yeah, I
Do you
don't
know
know
what it's
anything
called?
about it. It's like it's like a new release.
Magic the Gathering is one with cards.
Yeah, but it was something else. I really have no idea. But
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, we'll have to chat
for
about
sure.
that.
I'm always interested in these role playing games. Like I was in this hotel down in Atlanta one time, and I know this isn't the same thing, but there were furries all over the place.
Oh my God.
I walked out of my hotel room and I'm like, I believe that's a human sized squirrel. And then I see this other person, and this place it was obviously a convention, just absolutely everywhere. And I find this so interesting.
How many people do you think were at that convention?
Oh,
That's
hundreds and
What a-
hundreds and hundreds.
yeah.
I mean, first
Wow.
of all, it interests me that there must be businesses out there that are creating these costumes,
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
there's a market. I mean, how do people find
Yeah.
this? I mean,
It's like mascots and furries.
Yeah,
That's all
I bet they're interchangeable.
Yeah.
can you imagine that's like the name of your business?
Mascots and furries. Pick your poison.
I know.
That's their tagline.
Come on down to Mascots and Furries on Farnsworth Road. We got a big sale for you today. All of the chipmunks on sale for 20% off.
Because it's midsummer, right? And it's probably so
Midsummer,
hot.
that's our midsummer sale.
There you
It's
go.
President's Day, everybody. Come on down to Mascots and Furries on
I
Farnsworth
wonder
Road.
if like mascots have an affinity for that. That's why they get into business.
You know,
You know? Like by night. By day, they're kind of respectable mascots, and by night, they're kind of.
it's funny because I've actually known a couple people who have been professional sports mascots, and
Interesting.
it was a questionable business.
Well, also, I've been friends with people who have been inside like the Mickey costume at Disneyland.
It's rough,
It
man.
must be hot.
It's
Yeah.
tough. They have some of them have little air conditioners inside.
Yeah, like a
that
I
fan.
has-
hope so. That's kind of inhumane.
Although, have you noticed? So we're in New York, and anytime you walk through, say, the Times Square area, have you noticed? Does it seem like there's more people in costume than ever before in Times Square? One, two. Does it seem like the costumes have gotten a little less well made?
Yes.
Like someone said, "Hey, sale at Spencer's for the
Yeah.
stupidest looking stormtrooper costume
There's like
ever."
7 Iron Mans.
You throw that on and you say,
Yeah.
"Hey, it's my job now."
Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's like regulation, you know? I
Yeah,
feel
you're
like
right.
anyone out in the street can just kind of put on a costume and take a picture.
Don't you have to
get
have
some money.
a vendor license to
Do
do it in
you?
some
I
way?
mean, do you think all of them
technically
do,
you
though?
do. No, I don't
Yeah.
do that. In fact, no one's regular. It's not like there's a quality. I mean, can you imagine if there was some sort of like person going around like judging that this was a sufficient quality costume, for the Times Square persona?
If there was a union. Yeah.
Now,
should
see,
be,
that's
yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah. Because there are 7 Iron Men. I don't know.
of not equal quality.
No. Some of them have the flap over their like Adidas sneaker. And
I'd be angry if I spent weeks putting together the perfect Iron Man costume. I've
Yeah.
invested money in it. It's hot. I go out there. I have like a whole case for it that I gotta like find a locker to store the case in, and I've got electronics in it. And then some schlub walks in in
Yep.
his $6.99 CVS
Yep.
Iron Man Halloween costume and goes, "Hey kids, take a picture with me, $5."
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
he's from Alabama.
Well, see, you're there. There you go. He's from Alabama. But they're not allowed to ask for money. It's just sort of like a suggested donation.
Yeah, I guess. Well, not only that, I mean, imagine being like the tourist who you get home and you see the picture and it's like, you realize it's a terrible
Chintzy.
knockoff of a
Yeah.
Iron Man costume.
Where's the naked cowboy? See, that's what
That's
I want to know. Where'd he go?
See, do you? I don't know. I think a lot of these things have been getting a little less fun.
Yeah.
Times Square is getting
Ooh.
these weird people in it. Well, it's always had weird people in it, right, Elsie?
Yeah. I'm still stuck on that you said President's Day is midsummer.
I wasn't saying that it was still midsummer. I switched to another time of year.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for following along with me.
I did.
I was
not
just stuck
follow.
on it.
Yeah. Okay.
I
You
didn't
said it's
follow
live in the
either.
past.
Midsummer. It's President's Day.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for focusing in. It's good to know I've enraptured you with my content and humor.
No problem.
So
But I also think that when they see the Minnie and Mickey Mouse and stuff with their head half off, it's kind of ruins the fantasy for the kids.
Yeah.
They're all in there like just gossiping on their phones with their head half off.
again, room for a union.
It's true.
shouldn't
They
be
need a
allowed.
break room.
But you know, even when there is a union, it doesn't always help. I'll give you an example. I've had a couple run-ins with the New York City subway system, in which I have been actually like treated horribly by subway conductors,
Yeah.
physically.
Oh man.
Like one time I was, and got no justice out of it. I'll give you an example. One time I was getting into a subway car, I believe it was, and the doors closed on me. And I didn't have time to get all the way in. And it wasn't one of those things. It wasn't like the doors were closing and I tried to like dive for it.
right. They
The
close
door was
on
open.
you.
I was walking in like any normal person and then they closed on me. Now that can happen. It's an accident, whatever. But what happened is he kept hitting me with the door. Like I was stuck in the door and then he kept going like boom, 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 boom on me on purpose.
Open, shut, open, shut,
Open, shut. But in a way, in a way that was like, you know, you're gonna play with my subway car. I got control of the lever, man, and
Because he's bored. He's like, ooh, fresh meat.
I know. And then another time that someone was smoking on a subway car, which is a no-no, and I don't appreciate it, to be honest with you.
No.
And I left the subway car to my own detriment because, you know, like who knows when the next subway is going to come.
Yep.
Walked over to the conductor window, and I said, "Excuse me, I just want to tell you someone is smoking on the car." And he put his window up, gave me the finger, and then closed the door to the subway, and I was stuck out on the subway platform.
Wow.
And drove away. And I was just standing there going, that happened. That I tried to, I mean, it could be a fire hazard. It can.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
What day of the week was that?
Stupid day.
Okay. No, because certain days
It's like
of
a
the
Tuesday,
week.
Wednesday or something, probably.
Yeah. On a Friday night once, I had a delightful experience with a conductor. So, you know, it could just have been the midweek blues.
Did you report it?
Mark's not buying it.
I did report it. That's the point.
Good.
I reported
You
it
did.
and dealt with the union representative through a variety of cycles, if you will, of communication.
Wow.
And I was told that there were other issues with this particular conductor,
Oh, wow.
and that they will be dealt with. However, the irony to me is that I got nothing out of this.
Yeah.
I tried to even see if I could finagle like a complimentary 1 week subway pass or something for my trouble, pain, and because there was pain.
Yeah.
And
your contribution, you're making the subway
I'm trying
systems
to
better.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's just not something that they do, not something you
Your
know.
reward will come another way.
Yeah, maybe I can sneak in like half the people I see sneak because now they can't stop you if you sneak in the subway or so. Isn't that right, Elsie? Something like that.
Yeah, they don't ticket for that anymore.
They don't take it for that anymore. So
Oh, if you jump the...
technically, you're not supposed to jump.
You're
the
still not
turnstile.
supposed to, but they're not going to ticket you because it just, I don't know.
Don't have the resources to keep up with all of it or whatever.
Wow.
I know. So, and I get, boy, talking about angry. Talk about, I mean, I'm paying my $2.75 or whatever it is to ride the subway nowadays.
Yep.
Like you are. And then I see some jerk just going, oh, the door's open. Guess I can walk in. No reason for me to pay. You're stupid out there. You can pay.
Yep. But you know, it's about integrity and character,
Yeah,
which
it's
you've
true.
got, sir.
I do have it. I report people who are smoking on the subway.
That's right.
Even in college, I think I was a bit of a narc, actually. It's kind of, I realize now I was like an
that's
RA in
funny.
college, and I think I might have narked on a couple people, and I'm looking back on it, not feeling so good about it. Although me and my friend did stage a fake fight one time in front of 30 different RA's doors. So one night there was about 30 people, 30 RAs, resident advisors, in this one complex at college. And my friend Rick and I, who were both RAs, we staged a fake fight because everyone knew we were fast, like really, really great friends. And we staged a fake fight in front of each one of the resident advisors' doors, one after another in succession. I will tell you, after staging 30 fake fights, eventually here and there, a little punch is going to land. You're going to get a little rough house. We were kind of beaten up by the end of the night, very tired.
Yeah.
And I should mention there was maybe a little alcohol involved here. But anyway, and out of 30 RAs, 29 of them thought it was funny.
Oh no.
One of them reported us and we got in trouble, and then we had to sit the next morning in the area complex director's office. She closed the door and she said, okay, officially I have to discipline you guys. So you're going to be on like night duty for the next week or something like that. Yeah. Privately, I thought it was hilarious.
That's amazing.
It's like, I still look back on it as one of my greatest things I ever did in college.
And it only was 1 out of 30.
I know.
Wow.
What's wrong with that person?
Wow.
They should become a subway conductor.
You know what? I bet that person is.
Have you followed up?
Look them up.
Yeah. Really.
No. I want nothing to do with that person, Nicole.
Okay, well, there you go.
All right. We are going to pause for a moment. When we come back, it's going to be time for an improv game. And Nicole is going to dive in and play with us. And then we're going to learn a little bit about Scribbles by Nicole and cartoons and creating your own little universe. Right after this on Funny People Talking. We'll be right
back. Connect with the show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
Okay, it's time for a little improv game.
Mark, what do you got for us?
Okay.
Is this a Marc Rako original?
They're all, well, don't blame it on me. I mean, we all can contribute to the
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, is this like
world.
a cool, is a good one you
all
made
of the
up?
games on this show are ones we make up.
Okay, JK, did not know that.
Yes.
See? Wow.
Yeah, we
This
make up
shows
all
how
of
much
them.
I know.
So this one, I'm going to give you a choice to choose. I'm going to let Nicole choose.
Okay.
And I'll explain what the games are. I'm going to let you choose between 3 possible games. The first one is called The Governator. And basically it's Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was governor, little trip back down memory lane in California, solving problems in a meeting. And the idea is that we can each take turns being Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the other people pitch problems to them that in that position of power they have to solve on the fly. So that's one game. The second game is called Rotating Friends. Have you ever watched the show Friends?
I have.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be Friends. It can be any TV show. So if you're not as familiar with Friends, like I happen to know that Elsie is not as familiar with the show Friends. So for Elsie, we would choose some other show that has a cast of characters that people generally know. Brady Bunch or Star Trek or something where they're really obvious characters. And we put them in a situation and keep calling out which of those characters they are in that moment, and they have to react as that character would. And the third possibility is a game called Justify This. And whatever someone says, you have to figure out a way to make what is happening work. So, Nicole, if you're one receiving this, I would keep, maybe Elsie and I would keep throwing out things that are happening to you, and you have to figure out a way to justify that happening to you in a way that makes it a positive thing some way. So rationalize that it's happening. Don't worry, we'll demonstrate each of these.
Okay, I think the third one.
The third one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
That's the one I want.
Well, yeah, okay, we're going to play Justify This, and Danielle and I will demonstrate, and then we'll bring Nicole and Elsie into the mix. I'm going to demonstrate where you're going to receive, because I think it's difficult to communicate how I intend this game to be.
Okay.
So your job, Danielle, is no matter what I throw at you, you've got to figure out a way to make it make sense that, of course, this is happening. This is okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Nicole, I'd love you to give me an activity. Any activity in the world.
Social media.
Okay, social media. So you're doing social media. Okay, and everything here is going to relate in some way. Okay. So Nicole, I did it again. I called Danielle Nicole. You look like a Nicole to me. I don't know why. So Danielle, congratulations on your new gig at Instagram. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I wondering the leopard print bodysuit seems odd to me as your first day at work at Instagram.
Well, oh my God, it's a new campaign we're doing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's all about saving the leopards.
Oh.
So, well, obviously, I mean, I don't know why you're not wearing yours, but here we were doing whole leopard awareness. It's all about, the hashtag is #leopard awareness with 2 Z's at the end. A little incorporating the zebras as well with the Z's. And we're giving out swag bags at the end that will give you pamphlets on awareness about saving these really precious animals. And that's why I'm wearing this.
Now, I appreciate that explanation. You've definitely justified that, but I'm wondering if you have an explanation as to why you were 3.5 hours late for your first day at work.
Well, I mean, you knew how that day was. It was the anniversary of last year's Zebra Awareness Day. So the trains were crazy. So it was like, how could I have gotten here on time when there was that parade, there were there were people dressing in costume. I mean, it was madness. Also, they sent the wrong email for my time, so I thought I was on time. They thought I was late. It was this whole thing. But word on the street is my job is safe. Because I'm doing such a great job with this campaign. So
all right, fair enough. I do have one more question for you, and that is, I noticed that the first 5 campaigns that you've been putting out on Instagram have all been pictures of Pee Wee Herman. I'm trying to understand, across the board, no matter what the product is, no matter what the client is, no matter what the hashtag is, it's Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee Herman.
Well, first of all, I mean, it's very impressive. This is my first week at Instagram. I've already done 5 campaigns, and you've noticed, so thank you. But the other thing is, on those posts, what you don't know is that not Pee Wee Herman, the actor who plays him.
Paul Rubens?
Not him, but Pee Wee Herman, the character himself, is a huge leopard advocate. So what we're doing
I did not
here,
know that.
see, and if you had read the post, if you dug a little deeper, pressed continue reading, you would have known. And so we're trying to cater to more than just the millennial audience. We're trying to go bigger, trying to get avid readers who want to sit, scroll, not only just scroll through social media, but also dig deep and connect.
Very good. Okay, that's how you justify that.
I work so many events that is legitimately an event that could happen.
I believe
that was a character I just took on.
Well done. You were just on fire, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right. Why don't you let's turn around, Nicole? You wanna receive and try to rationalize
try to
and
justify
everything.
Okay.
So Danielle will deliver to you.
Okay, I'll deliver to you, and then Marc, do you want to give me a topic?
Yes. How about
a suggestion?
Your activity, Nicole, is you drive an ice cream truck.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you certain things. All right. So let's see. Nicole, so I hear your ice cream business is going really well.
Yes.
But I just have a question. Why your truck is so it looks really beat up and like it's smoking out the exhaust pipe and it looks a little rickety, and I don't know if that's safe for children. Why is that?
I think what we're trying to do with this truck is have it feel lived in. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it feels comfortable.
Yeah.
So it feels like people have really gone there, experienced it, and it shows. So that's kind of like
So sort of an homage to when pollution was okay.
Exactly. The nostalgia factor, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's great. I did, back on that whole toxic environment sort of kick, I noticed one of your flavors is called the Gowanus, as in the Gowanus Canal. Now, why would that be? Because that's actually one of the most toxic bodies of water in this side of the Mississippi.
Right. Well, we're trying to kind of bring awareness to all of the various pollution sites.
Okay.
And I think
through ice cream.
Through ice cream, because it's sort of a more accessible way to talk about these really important
to like
issues.
10-year-olds who want ice cream.
Right. Where they're the leaders of the future. So I think it's important to get them hooked right away. And ice cream is kind of the vehicle.
Now, but is there Gowanus water in the ice cream?
There's a little bit of, I'm not going to lie, there is a little bit. And I think it's just to kind of get them really hooked.
You guys are really living on the edge here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's controversial, but I think it's going to be effective ultimately.
It's better than vaping, though.
I think it's going to be the new trend.
Right. And speaking of vaping, it seems as if you have on the side of your truck here a spot for all the kids to put their they're called vapes, right? They're little vape things?
Yep.
Yeah, so do you encourage child smoking and inhalation?
Vaping? I
child
think
vaping?
It kind of ties into the whole pollution sort of awareness. So it's a little ironic. That's kind of what we're going for. Yeah.
That's a really interesting thing.
Yeah.
Now, do you cater to parents, or is this more of just a child toxic thing?
Well, you know what? The parents are free to join in. So we're happy to have them, honestly. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. I would love a scoop of the Gowanus.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That was awesome.
That was great. Nice job. Thanks. She dove in. She understands yes and.
Okay.
Very well done.
Nicole, that was so funny.
All right, Nicole, why don't you I'm going to give you a choice. You want to throw to Elsie or throw to me?
I'm going to throw to Elsie.
Oh, Elsie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. So, but you can give me a topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you give a topic, Danielle? An activity.
An activity.
Yeah.
What about? I was going to say like an awards show.
Okay.
Is that okay?
So you're you're involved in an award show.
All right.
So you have to, you have to make her justify things at an award show or whatever you come up with.
Okay, Elsie, I was just wondering why it was that you stayed silent as the presenter for 4 minutes straight as you were presenting the most important award.
Well,
Elsie.
I know I'm a chatterbox normally, and that was out of character. But the reason why I was not speaking was to take a stand, and also to bring awareness to the art of John Cage's music. You know, he had a piece where all the orchestra was there, but nobody played, and that's an actual piece.
Okay.
So I wanted to bring mention to him because I think that he's been very underrated.
Okay.
People have forgotten about him. So
that makes sense.
That was my moment to bring awareness. People throw in politics and stuff now. I throw in some John Cage stuff.
That makes sense. And I also was curious as to why you wore an Idaho potato sack as your dress.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. I think that people have become way too materialistic, and the whole thing where everyone's vying for someone to wear their dress. Who's it by? Who's it by? Well, I mean, what's more basic than a potato sack?
Sure.
You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's it by? It's by Idaho potatoes.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
But it's natural fiber, and you know, it's cool.
And was that the same thinking as to why you masking taped your feet instead of wearing shoes? Or
well, the thing was I was told that if you put masking tape on before you put on your shoes, that you don't get blisters.
Okay.
But I said, just forget about the shoes. I like the masking tape.
Okay.
I didn't need any of that. It protected my feet. It was covered. And who needs heels? That just messes everything up. So I said, you know, and shoes with bling and heels and stuff, it honestly clashed with my potato sack.
Sure. Okay. So practical and come back to the basics.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I like that. Thank you.
Absolutely. It was a good time.
Elsie rocking the improv today.
I love
must say.
You get an award.
Well
for that
done.
Potato sack.
All right, we'll finish up with me. Good job, Elsie. You want to throw to me?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, you give
Nicole, why don't you
what's the
suggest an
action?
activity here?
Activity.
Let's bring it back to Subways
Subway. So what's happening?
or
with
the sandwich. Like the sub. Let's go with the Subway sandwich shop.
Subway sandwich
Yeah.
shop. Okay.
Something about that.
Okay.
So, Mark.
Yeah. What's up?
When you got your job at Subway Sandwiches,
Yeah, best day of my life.
I heard that you kind of jumped the gun and started giving them ideas right away.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the. I mean, look, I've never done anything halfway. I always do things twice as much. So I figured, why not? I figured the best way. Why have just one Subway sandwich? All right, they have foot long. Why can't there be 2 feet long? So since they didn't have any actually 2 feet long Subway bread. I mean, there was no way to attach it. I'm not going to use like tape or glue or whatever. So toothpicks seem likely, but you know, I guess you really have to have some sort of disclaimer so people know the toothpicks are in the sandwiches.
Yeah.
That didn't really,
So
that was not the
didn't go
best
well,
first day,
yeah.
really. So
Yeah, but it went beyond that. It went beyond just making it 2 feet. It was
yeah.
the fact that you had chosen specific kinds of sandwiches that you really pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like the hagfish sandwich.
Hagfish is good.
Where you brought in like that's not even that's disgusting.
Well, I mean, I thought it was going to go over. You know, my uncle Vin always enjoyed hagfish, and he loves submarine sandwiches. So I figured, why not try it? But it didn't work. So I was open minded, and I thought that it was possible that Spam sandwiches would work. But you know, granted, you know, Spam with mayonnaise, with spinach, with pimentos,
Right.
Is,
But you do
the
realize you're
slimy
not supposed to bring in your own ingredients to work.
I know. I don't know. I'm trying to be creative and contribute. It has to start from somewhere. I figured they'd find a vendor eventually.
All right,
but...
so let's move on.
Okay.
So I know it's sensitive, but could you talk about why you were arrested at work?
I wouldn't. First of all, I'd like to say that I was able to post bail, so it couldn't have been that serious. So just, I would like that noted for the record. Look, as far as I was concerned, I was on my lunch. All right. And everyone needs private time. Okay. And someone was using the restroom. No one was in that corner of the restaurant. So, I like to watch my British programming. And, you know, they're a little freer in Europe. And I can't control that we're puritanical in the United States. It's not my fault. God. Who knew that was against the law?
Well, I think the part that was against the law was bothering the customers, asking all of them if they wanted a spot of tea.
I didn't know that was a euphemism. I thought we served tea. Look, I saw iced tea. I assumed there was hot tea. I don't know why everyone assumed that I meant something else. Can't blame me.
Well, so I mean, clearly you don't have a job there anymore. Am I correct?
No, but I am applying at Blimpies next week for sure.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. And that's justify that.
You're so positive. I believe in this Subway man. Oh, poor guy. He just wants to watch British Bake Off.
I know. Subways just never seem to work out for me.
I know. Oh my God. We talk about the Subway a lot.
I know. I was thinking.
That's fun.
Let's bring it back.
All right. So let's that was fun. I thought that was a good
That
one.
was fun.
So
I've never done anything like that. I think, you guys are actors? Do you guys do that all the time?
I mean, we've done a lot of improv over time, but
I've just never. I've always been so scared of that.
well, you
so much
dove in
fun.
and did quite well. I must say, nicely done. I
Cool.
really thought you did it as a pro.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and I know we're about to dive into more about what you do, but it makes sense to me from seeing your sketches and illustrations that you would be quick on your feet and witty in that way. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
So let's talk about that a little bit. You're Nicole, you are a cartoonist, you're an illustrator, you're an entrepreneur, and arguably an influencer, simply, if nothing else, by the little community of people that you've built through social media. Mm-hmm. So let's start out and say, what is Scribbles by Nicole, which is your business? And who is Scribbles? No.
Well, I'm Nicole. It's just kind of started out as a creative outlet for me. I work in corporate America, and so I just kind of wanted somewhere to go and just kind of have released my creativity. So it was that's what it started out as, and like you said, it kind of became a little community and a place. I think what you said before, that the way me creating this content, it kind of makes me think about things differently. Like different parts of my brain are firing.
Right. Yeah.
And so, I just kind of live my life, and then I write down the parts that I think are weird and funny, and that kind of turns into a scribble later on that day. So
describe these scribbles and how you get them out there. Not just I post them on Instagram,
yeah.
But how does it go from a moment in your head or a thing that you observe to becoming something that tens of thousands of people see?
So I started about 2 years ago.
And what kind of a job were you doing at the time?
Marketing. I think marketing, yeah. So I started about 2 years ago. I started anonymously. And I just kind of had, some stuff written in my notes app, kind of things that I've observed. And of all the nonsense I had on there, I kind of, parsed through it, and some of it made sense. And so I just kind of started, doodling. And now I do it digitally, but before it was on paper. And I just created an account because I thought that was kind of the easiest way to hold myself accountable to doing something, and then also allowing others to kind of relate or see it, provide feedback, whatever it may be. And I started with no followers or anything like that, and I did it anonymously, and then it just started kind of gaining some traction. So that kind of validated it for me, and I've kind of just been doing it ever since.
I would love to know, from your, morning musings or whatever you see that day.
Yeah.
And then getting it onto whatever you use to draw digitally out to Instagram. What does that turnaround look like?
Like timing? Or,
does it take you like 5 minutes to do a sketch or how long?
So I think the part that takes the longest is just like coming up with the concept, like the idea, the actual drawing.
Yeah.
I have my little characters.
I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kind of repurpose her.
Okay.
And then if it's, not a character based drawing, I'll do my best to kind of sketch out whatever it is I'm trying to say.
Okay. One of them has a white shirt. One has a red dress.
Yeah.
Or a pink dress.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen
So
that.
I'm not an artist by any means. Like that's not, I started drawing, for the first time 2 years ago when I started the account. So that's kind of hard for me because like I'll think of, whatever, if I want to draw a purse and then I have what I want to draw in my head and then actually drawing it, I'm like, oh, it takes me a little while,
Yeah.
So that's why I have those preset characters.
That's cool.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think you have almost 100,000 followers on Instagram?
Yeah, that's nothing to...
That's not something to sneeze at. I recently was producing an interview, and there was a genuine, like, they make their living out of being an influencer. And she was very proud that she had grown her following to close to 100,000. And the person who was interviewing her, who's an expert in that arena, was also like, that was a real accomplishment. And yes, there's people with more followers and all that, but this is not, like, Danielle says, nothing to sneeze at here.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that happened? Is this purely like you've somehow connected to the consciousness of unwittingly of what's out there I don't know how this happened. Or was there any strategy, design, agency, anything involved with helping that happen?
I think it's relatable. And I think it's taking things that sometimes can be a little tough and bringing a little bit of humor to it or light to it at least. Sometimes I'm positive in my posts. Sometimes I'm more realistic. Sometimes it just depends on my mood. But I think it's topics that people relate to. So that's what brings people in. I don't know exactly, but
I laughed out loud this morning at the goes to buy $40 highlighter and boyfriend says, "Wow, you look sweaty."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So disappointing.
Are most of these things that have
Just so
actually
relatable.
happened in your life or you've observed, or how much of them are from your imagination?
It's a mix. So, it's things that happen to me, things that happen to like friends, or things that I know have happened to people, and just kind of writing it down because it will inevitably happen to me. So,
You know, in another interview, we were talking about how comedians, particularly stand-up comics, are damaged people often. That's just true. And their comedy is a way, it's a defense mechanism for them. It's a way for them to find a way to connect with people when in their regular life they can't do it. Other than a release of creative energy for you, how has the work that you do with these scribbles impacted your life? If at all.
Yeah, no, definitely has. So like I said, I do have like sometimes trouble portraying what I want to say just on a day-to-day basis. So starting this anonymously was key because I wasn't about to tell everybody that I was doing this. So I started anonymously, and it gave me some confidence because, you know, to keep doing it because people seem to relate.
You're like Cyrano de Bergerac. This is like your, you know, you're saying the things through another vehicle.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because that kind of gave me confidence in real life. Like it kind of gave me, when I did tell people, like my friends a few months in, they were like, I didn't even know you were funny. I was like, and then it gave me the kind of confidence to kind of say what I want to say. And now I'm like, yeah, people.
Now she's kicking ass and taking names in improv games.
Yeah,
I know. Right? So how did this go from the first one of these that you did that you shared into saying, I think I can make some money on this? Whether or not that's your primary driver, the fact is there was a decision at one point in which you said, I'm going to sell something. Tell us about that moment and how that transpired.
I think, well, it's definitely not my priority because I've never stuck to something ever. This is the first, I think. So and for a while I wasn't making any money at all, and I'm still not making a lot of money, but
you're still working in marketing also?
Yeah,
okay.
I still work. I have a day job. It's kind of like the best part of my day is coming home and doing this, the scribbles, you know. I'd love to make it my full-time job at some point, but so starting out and making this somewhat profitable, it just started with people reaching out to me, which was like a pleasant surprise. Brands asking if I wanted to create content for them or, you know, collaborate in some way. So that's kind of the biggest source of kind of the money making part.
In other words, they saw your scribbles, they saw your Instagram posts, for example, and they said, I like the cut of her jib. I love her style. I love what she's doing. And I think our brand could communicate through the characters and voices that you're doing.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And you sell merchandise yourself too, right?
Yeah, through my website. But I would definitely say that I'm not so good with e-commerce. I have to figure that all out. So it's something I do, but I don't, you know, focus on that. It's more like reaching out to different brands and working with them, and even people if they have custom orders or things like that.
Yeah, I was going to ask about commissions. If you were to do,
I have done
like
several in the past. You know, if someone reaches out, it's not just because I do work full time. It's hard to kind of prioritize that, but yeah, people have reached out with like really nice stories, and I will create something for them. So
that's so fun.
So Is there a particular scribble that you've done? And I say scribble. These are bona fide cartoons. There's or illustrations.
I have such a problem saying, like, if someone's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "A cartoonist." I don't know. Like, I just
But when I say for the audience, if you've not seen these, first of all, you should go see them. You can see them on Instagram, particularly at Scribbles by Nicole, or on her actual website, which is scribblesbynicole.com. Go check them out because they're actually like legit. Her own style.
They're so
unique, delightful cartoons. That's very hard for me to hear you say like, well, I don't really draw or whatever. I'm like, no, this is your own universe you've created.
Yep.
Clearly, like you look at it, you say, that's Scribbles by Nicole. So my question is, are there particular scribbles that you've done that stand out to you that you go, wow, that was a bit of a masterpiece for me. Like that was one of my best ones I ever did, and really connected with people. Or on the other side, is there one that you've put out there and you say, I wish I could take that back?
Yeah. I mean, I do look through some and I'm like, what the hell was I trying to say? Like, it was so long-winded. I was like, what? But there's some that, like, if they make me chuckle, I'm like, oh my God, yes, I did it.
Oh, you're your best audience, huh?
Yeah, but and then there's ones that they're not even funny. They're just kind of like positive, and they kind of, it's what I need to hear. So that, and then I've been getting tagged on this recent one that I did. It was like a little Google. It was, so it's just like a Google "You Are Not Alone" thing, and I've gotten people have tagged me so many times on that. I keep getting notifications that people are connecting to that, and I like when I can provide someone with some kind of comfort. Like, that's really nice to me.
The main character that I see the most, this dark-haired girl, or woman, mildly physically reminds me of you. Is that supposed to be you? Do you think it's a version of you?
Yeah, like a dramatic version of me, yeah.
So I noticed that she's very lanky and tall.
Oh no, that's not me. That's what I want to be.
That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
So it's
the reason that happened was because like I said, I never really drew anyone. And so when I was deciding on how to draw my character, I just looked online, and like the fashion illustration, they just tell you how to draw a person, and it involves drawing like 8 circles and then creating a figure from that. So that's why she's tall, because she's based on a fashion illustration, but sadly I'm not.
That is so fun.
They do look like fashion illustrations.
I mean, just the proportions.
Yeah.
I was just going to say I very much relate to the evolution of the fake ID.
Yes.
That is really, I love that one, because I definitely took my friend's fake ID.
For the listener, what was the nature of that?
Oh, yeah. It's a quite recent post. So if everyone follows her, you'll see it. But it's 2 different people on different spectrums of... one's on one side of 21 and one's on the other. And essentially it's someone who's older trying to make their student ID passable, and the younger person is trying to get into a bar and making them look older.
Yes.
I relate to the student ID. I'm like, give me those Broadway ticket discounts.
Yes.
Give me those things. No, I'm too old. Okay, great. But yeah, Mark, you were going to say something about her 30th birthday?
Well, I noticed...
Which we saw.
Very, very seldom.
Yeah.
You will post an actual photograph on the Instagram feed.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Wow.
No, there was a picture of your desk.
Yes, that was
and your creative workspace, and there was a picture of something else. But
I never
of you,
posted myself. Yeah.
So I'm interested in the creative decision that you went through in your own head, in which you decided to violate the universe that you created, and you said, "This is the moment I'm going to step away from or through the fourth wall," or whatever the phrase is. Tell us about that thinking process for you in the moment you said. You pushed go and revealed yourself to the world.
So I started anonymously, like I said, because I was scared of people thinking it was dumb or, you know, people associating that with me and then maybe them thinking it was dumb or just, you know, I was just scared. So the reason I didn't put a face behind this Scribbles account was because of fear. So it took me 2 years, but I was like, you know what, it's fine. The other thing is, you know, there didn't seem like it didn't seem like anyone cared. Like, who cares? Like, people like my scribbles. So it felt kind of silly to post a picture. But again, I was just like, it's time. I'm proud of it. I'm happy to,
That's awesome.
you know, stand behind it. So yeah, it was more like getting over the whole being afraid and just, you know, going for it.
I think that's great.
Yeah, that's
I love it.
That's pretty awesome. You're out there publicly now to some degree.
Yeah.
Do you have I'm gonna sound like I'm making a joke, but I don't mean it that way. Do you have Scribble stalkers?
No. Nope. No, I just sometimes I'll get DMs from people that are just like, they just relate to my content and they thank me, and it's just so like we just get emotional back to each other, back and forth. We're like, love you, like, yeah, it's like there's nothing, no one cares, honestly. It's like they just like the stuff, not the person behind it.
So 2 questions on that. One is, what do you think? What's a moment that you remember connecting with one of your fans? Let's say your do you have a name for them, like your scribblettes or?
No, just people.
What was a moment you remember in which one of your scribbles really spoke to someone and you learned about that and had meaning for you?
I don't even know what the post was, but it was someone who's, I think, from Peru, and she wrote this like several, you know, DMs have character length restrictions, so it was like several, you know, DMs, and she just like thanked me for you know, posting content that was like positive but brought, you know, brought serious topics to maybe make it more lighthearted for her, I guess. And that's what I was kind of doing for myself, but I didn't realize other people were connecting in the same way. So I don't know. I just, that stood out to me just because it was so heartfelt what she was saying. And so, you know, it was really nice to kind of hear that it was affecting other people in a positive way, in the same way it was affecting me. So.
And in Peru.
Yeah, and it was cool.
How cool is
so
that to like
away. Yeah.
know you're like, you know.
I know. Instagram has insights, and it tells you the countries and the cities that your followers are from. And for some reason, I have Jakarta, Indonesia, is really pops. I'm like, that's literally the exact opposite part of the world.
Cartoons transcend language, I suppose,
so cool.
and so forth. Wow, that's pretty cool. And the final question I have for you about the Scribbles are, what sense have you gotten what connects with people? Because you'll look through and you'll see, okay, this one got 8,000 likes or whatever. This one had only 1,300 for some reason.
Yeah.
What have you had a sense as and to whatever degree, as a follow-up question, to whatever degree you've analyzed this, has it driven your creative process by saying, I want to create something that connects to people, or does it all still just flow completely organically and whatever comes out, comes out?
Well, I have noticed that there are some things that connect more than others, but I genuinely don't, that I can't predict what it is beforehand. I can only see after. It's like hindsight bias. I just, because I like what I like, and
so you're not trying
feel
to
what
crowd
I feel.
please.
Yeah, you're not trying to recreate the magic that happened before.
Yeah.
It's very wise. It's very, very wise.
Absolutely.
Because then I think if you start doing that, then it starts to become like a job versus you're trying to fit some criteria that someone else created for you versus what you're trying to do.
How often do you post?
Well, it just depends on my actual full-time job and, you know, how busy it is.
So it's when you've got something to say.
Yeah. And also obviously like I'm not inspired every day. So there'll be times where I like write down a bunch of ideas and I have like a ton, and some will pan out and some won't. And then there'll be times where I'm just like not very inspired. But during those times, I can kind of draw the ideas I already had. Like I said, the hardest part is coming up with like the idea and fleshing it out. The drawing is more like relaxing for me. You know, it's more like a zen thing, whereas like coming up with the idea is like the fun part for me.
Do you draw on a tablet?
Yeah, I have an iPad. Yeah.
That's nice.
What's your dream reach for the stars goal with all this? Say an animated film based on your characters?
I would be open to anything. I mean, that would be great. I want to write more. So, you know, outside of just captions for Instagram and just like those monologues that I come up with. So kind of developing that a bit more, maybe a book or something with TV. I don't know, something awesome. Bigger than what it is.
Interesting.
But yeah, we'll see.
I can see it.
Yeah, I totally can. In your head, is there a voice here? Is there a personality, a physicality of your characters?
Yeah, she's just someone who's trying to get by. She's a little awkward in doing so. I mean, I have it in my head. It's like a very, because it's kind of like me. I'm just trying. I'm trying my best, but I'll
hard
get
to describe. But if you had a lineup of people, you'd be able to say, yeah, it's like that. It's like that person.
I can tell it's her right there. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Last question on this, from me at least. What would you say is the most misunderstood part of who you are? And you can choose if it's Nicole the person or Nicole the Scribbles not by Nicole professional.
Yeah. I think it's marrying the two, because my Nicole the person never really I don't so much express myself as much as I do through my Scribbles account. So it's hard for me to do that. With the Scribbles account, that's the purpose of it. It's to kind of express what I want to say. So, that's like the creative side of me. And then like my day-to-day is more, corporate marketing, whatever, what I thought I should do versus what I actually want to do, and trying to marry the two and eventually just turn into the one I want to do.
It's funny. There's a clear comedic undertone to all of what you do on this. Would you say you're funny in regular life, or is this your way of being funny?
It's funny because my most recent job is when I started this account, and when I started being more confident in the fact that like I can say things that are clever and funny, and I have that confidence now. So in my new job with my work friends and stuff, I think I come off as actually like a pretty funny person. Like I'm like kind of the clown. But with people pre-Scribbles, it's like I have a different way I come across, I think. So I think this Scribbles account has really helped me become the person I think I always was, just was kind of too scared to come across as. So.
Yeah, I don't have any questions, but I just want to say any more questions. But I just want to say that I love what you've done, because it's as if you've given yourself permission for that. And by doing the anonymous thing, that's what it is. Because as just human beings, we all have that capacity inside of us. And sometimes we hold it back because we feel like we haven't been given permission. And what you did, knowingly or unknowingly, was just start a thing and giving yourself permission to the point where you're like, here's my selfie, everyone,
I love that.
The art speaks for itself. And I absolutely love what you're doing. And I love that you have this big platform because it does inspire people. And I could definitely see a through line of a story or you writing more or anything. So I just want to encourage you in that. Like, keep
Thank
going.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right, we're going to. I don't feel satisfied that I've asked every possible question I want to ask, but I think we've reached a point in the show in which we're going to let it rest for now. Thank you for opening up and sharing so much of yourself with us as well in a different way. We look forward to our Funny People Talking Scribble very soon.
Of course, yeah.
Scribble away,
cool.
girl.
Okay, coming up, we're going to do end of show food, one of our very favorite parts of the show. Before we do, I just want to ask, what kinds of people might you like to connect with? And those that want to connect with you, how can they find you?
Well, you can find me on my Instagram account, which is Scribbles by Nicole. Nicole is spelled Nicole. And really anyone that wants to connect with me, I'm really open. And I love brainstorming new ideas. So DM me, email me. My email address is nicole@scribblesbynicole.com. And you can go to my website, scribblesbynicole.com. It's pretty simple.
Hilarious if your email was like bob@scribblesbynicole.com. All right, awesome. Coming up, we're going to do end of show food right after this.
Empirical evidence that you shouldn't stare directly into the sun. This is Funny People Talking.
Hard to top that really interesting discussion, but I think we're about to have a good attempt at it because it's time for end of show food. That's right, end of show food. It's Elsie's favorite part of the show, and it might just be ours too.
It's my favorite part too.
It is. And I'm excited to see what. And just to let you know, Nicole, at the end of every show, Elsie is kind enough to share something she's found out in the world that's an interesting or weird or unusual food or drink that she's come across. And sometimes it's really out there. Sometimes it's a little more normal. And we'll see what we found today. So what have we got, Elsie?
So
She's got a grin on her face.
I like this because of how it looks and the potential of what it brings. First of all, the label has a lot of purple.
Your color.
So I like
got
it.
purple glasses on.
Yeah. This is Theo chocolate, and it's root beer barrel, 55% dark chocolate.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm sorry. Say that again. It's chocolate. It's dark chocolate.
Yeah.
And then it's root beer barrel. So apparently it may have some sort of root beer flavor built into it.
Yes.
Those are not two things I would normally think about going together.
Do you remember?
Have you got your root beer in my chocolate?
I love a bit of root beer. Have you had that the little root beer barrel candies before?
Of course.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
Those are so good. Okay, so imagine those surrounded by dark chocolate. I think we can deal. I think it's a good idea.
I like it already. Then I don't know which of us in the room would enjoy such a thing, but imagine a good chocolatey stout with that. Just to top it off.
Oh, delicious.
Now, which would be the chaser? Would the root beer barrel covered in chocolate be the chaser, or would the stout be the chaser?
Or you know how sometimes root beer comes, you can do it on tap? What if you're actually drinking a root beer?
Oh, now you're just being difficult.
And then sugar rush.
Oh yeah, it's like if you can develop diabetes in the space of 10 minutes, that will be how it happened.
All right, so
wow,
I opened it up and I broke it up.
Okay,
so
do my camera. I want to take a picture of this.
The packaging is quite beautiful. So it's Theo,
Theo. Hey, hold up.
Is there an accent?
I don't know.
I feel like, isn't it fancy?
Okay, sorry.
Should there be an accent?
Fancy.
Fancy. I like that. I wonder how much they paid for that font.
Go back, everybody. Ooh, I'm taking a piece
I
of
wonder who made that font.
Oh,
You can totally...
it definitely... Okay, if I were to imagine what the combination of chocolate and root beer is, that is what this smells like. I know it seems like it should be obvious, but...
Ooh.
Sometimes one masks the other, but
Do you know what it smells like a little bit? Have you ever had chocolate
wow.
that has like pepper in it?
yeah,
Like spicy
like
chocolate?
a ghost pepper?
like a cayenne type.
Yeah, like cayenne.
like a Mexican.
Whoa.
This is like Mexican chocolate to me.
Okay, so you know
Smell
how
it.
ginger ale and root beer actually come from, like ginger ale comes from ginger, so it's like a root. I'm really getting some rootiness, some rooty.
What is the crunch?
Yeah, does it say what the crunch is, Elsie?
It says root beer brittle.
Oh, so it's like those root beer candies probably.
Okay, so we're all
hoping
going
you
back
do
for a
that.
second. So
I dig this.
should I rate it?
All right, so what we do here on this show, Nicole
Oh my
is
god, my producer's getting up and giving me
Yay.
more chocolate. Thank
All right,
you,
Elsie.
ma'am.
Nicole, we rate our food, end of show food, based on the number of chickens. So out of whatever scale you decide,
Sure.
so it could be out of 72 chickens or whatever.
Okay, this is
That's usually Elsie's number she likes. So let's start with you, Danielle. How many chickens do you give the root beer barrel flavored chocolate?
This might be my highest rating I've ever given.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just going to do 9,999 chickens out of 10,000 chickens.
Wow, that's a pretty. What do you think the one was taken away for?
It's not a perfect 10. It's a
What would've-
99.99.
1,000.
What would have pushed it over the edge?
Je ne sais pas. I cannot say. I do not know. And that is what makes it so mysterious.
Ah.
For that one chicken left out.
So okay.
That is.
And what about you, Elsie? What do you give this?
72 out of 72.
Aha. What about you,
Yeah.
Nicole? Any number of chickens you're willing to give this?
Yeah, I would give it all of the chickens. I'm gonna choose
Okay.
64.
64 out of 64 chickens.
Yeah,
All the chickens.
Good.
all of them.
For me, I would give it a 99 out of 100 chickens, and the one, it's very similar
You guys are on the same
to
page.
your rating.
Okay.
The one is just because I so enjoyed the little root beer brittle in it. I had wished there was more.
Oh,
But so it's not that I thought there was something
it's
wrong
a
with it.
positive thing. that you
Wow.
just
It's a
want more of.
positive. I want more of it. And frankly, it's also a deduction because we've run out of it and there isn't any more to eat. So that's really more of a function
Wow.
of the sizing choices of the manufacturer, which I'm very unhappy with.
Fair.
I agree.
So, success, Elsie, a success.
Yeah,
Congratulations
that was
and thank you.
Fabulous.
Yes, very
Delicious.
nice. We have
The
a
funny
winner.
thing is, trying to find it is near impossible. Everyone's sold out of it.
Yeah.
So I went to the Theo Candy website, nothing. Went to Amazon, nothing. You're never going to guess where I bought it.
The dollar
CVS.
store.
I was just gonna say that.
The Chihuly gift shop.
Wait,
What's that?
Chihuly in
Chihuly.
Seattle?
Glass. Yep.
What?
Of all things.
Wait, you found it there online?
Like, were you
I have
purposefully
Chihuly
wherever you went? You were
earrings.
like,
Wow.
I was there
just-
last
Yep.
January.
That's
I was trying to
crazy.
find it. Yeah.
Wow, good job, Elsie. You know,
Like, who would have thought,
I like
right?
to point out, Elsie doesn't just like stop down at Fairway and see what
No.
they've got.
She
This
goes
is
to-
research project here. So,
That is so fun.
all right, everybody, definitely go. If you haven't already, or you want to just stop back, go to scribblesbynicole.com or find her on Instagram at scribblesbynicole. It's absolutely worth it. She's got great, funny material. I wish you the best, Nicole. You've definitely, I absolutely love how modest you are. And just, you're just doing your thing, man, you know, and I dig that. Thank you for taking the time to come join us.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun, and I think I'm gonna take an improv class now.
Oh.
because that was so much fun.
Oh, so
Yeah.
inspired.
That was
Yay.
so. Because again, it's like I was afraid to do that, but I knew it was coming. I was like nervous.
No, you nailed
It was
it.
so
You
much fun.
definitely
Yeah.
nailed it. Nice job.
Good time.
All right, that's it for this episode of Funny People Talking. I want to say how much I appreciate you listening. It means so much to all of us that you are with us this time and hopefully each week. And hopefully we'll see you again next week. Until then, for my good valued friend and awesome co-host, Danielle Beckman.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. I echo Mark's statements. We'll see you next time.
And our awesome, and particularly related to today's end of show food, she gets big points, producer Elsie.
Thanks. Really enthusiastic.
I guess that's it for her. She just ran out of gas. That was the moment right there. It's all out of the tank. I'm Marc Rako, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Well, that wasn't too bad, considering it was free. Y'all come back again real soon now, you hear? This has been Funny People Talking. A production of Mouth Media Network, copyright 2019. No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network, covering the business of lifestyle.